Hello, hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to New Moon Manifesting. This is a super special new moon in Aries. We've got this Aries new moon taking place on 4/11. So it is the true 411, right? This is about your life and the information that you need to support you to take this new astrology year to a whole new level. So the next couple of days is an opportunity for you to reflect on the previous year, on what you've accomplished, how you've healed and grown, and everything that you've done, as well as leave behind whatever you no longer want to take with you and prep for the astrology new year by actually setting some intentions. So we are literally seeding the new year. And as we go through the next 12 archetypes, this gives you an opportunity to always have this new moon goal as a touchstone. So whatever intentions you set, you always come back to that and say, okay, how do I enhance that with the Taurus new moon and with the Gemini new moon? And going through all those cycles, it will actually support you throughout the entire year. And you're more likely to achieve your goals because you keep referring back to them and staying on track with them in that capacity. So this Aries energy is a fire sign. It is very bold, it's creative, it's expansive, it is generous, and there's a ton of activity that is going to support you through this new moon. So essentially what we're going to do tonight is talk about the astrology, some of the elements that are in Aries, because there's an entire lineup in Aries, as well as some of the other planets that are playing with it at squares, sextiles, and trines, because all of these are having an influence and they're fairly substantial. It's a lot of really good stuff. And as long as you're ready to do it, if you're still stuck in fear or holding yourself back in some capacity, then it definitely makes it harder to move forward. But we'll talk about the astrology first of all, and I'll actually pull up a chart and kind of show you how to look at it. So if you've actually pulled your chart, that's fabulous, because it's important for you to know where all of these aspects are taking place for you personally, because each one of us have a different chart and different influences and houses that it's landing in, but it is vital to know that information and to support you in actually setting a goal that is very specific to you. Now, if you think about Aries being the first astrology sign, it's all about, who am I? What am I doing here? What am I doing in this world? And how do I fit in? I'm an individual, and yet I'm a part of a system. And so how do I fit into that? And what are my unique qualities, characteristics, and how am I bringing those into the world in a dynamic way that not only supports myself, but it supports humanity as a whole? So after we talk about the astrology and what's kind of taking place with how all the planets are playing together, then we're going to go through a guided meditation where we'll integrate some of the key characteristics of Aries, and we will also help set intentions that you have and tune into your body and how that feels for you. And so it's a really powerful way for you to disconnect from old limiting beliefs and power struggles that maybe you're holding on to, and really step into and fully embrace who you are. I'll also talk throughout tonight, we'll talk a little bit about manifesting in general, because everything comes from our emotions. Every emotion that we feel creates energy in our body and a vibration in our body. And the more we're in that higher vibe, feeling gratitude or love or joy or compassion, these higher vibrating emotions, the more we attract good stuff to us. When we're angry and frustrated and, just trying to figure out how things are going to work, or worrying, then it makes it difficult for us to actually manifest. In fact, this morning, just a silly, funny story to demonstrate this, I needed to, run into town. It's about 10 miles away, and I got most of my stuff in the car, and I started on the highway, and I got like 2 exits down, and I was like, oh shoot, I forgot the package of some stuff that I was going to return. So I turned around, went back home, picked it up, and the traffic has just been horrible. I live in a tiny town in Central California on the coast here, but it is spring break, and so everybody's here for the holiday. And so I was getting really frustrated with the traffic flow and everything going on. And finally, I just said, all right, Jana, I know you want to hurry and get stuff done, but you need to just breathe, calm down, and then everything will open up. And as soon as I did that, literally, it's like cars were pulling over, people were getting off the highway, and it was like the lanes were literally opening up. So I know how powerful it is when we can shift our mindset and get to that place where we are aligned with what we really want. But if we're caught in frustration and worry and fear and all of those negative emotions, then we actually attract more of that to us. So let's get started with a few key pieces of information. I will look at the chat later. I don't have time to look at it when I'm actually in presentation mode. So I will look at that in just a minute. And my screen jumped. Let me get back over here. Oh, wait, back up. I had to jump out of the room and I thought I had it all set up. So one more time. Let's go with this part. There we go. I don't know why every time I open it, it's a different size than it needs to be. Let's get rid of you. And we're set. Okay, so we're the starting gate. We are stepping into a brand new year, a brand new you, an opportunity for amazing growth and an opportunity to really seed something that's valuable and important to you, something that's heart-centered, something that makes your heart sing, something that helps you feel encouraged with life, that feels just passionate to you, and that helps you honor who you are. So as we come into the Aries energy, I pulled a chart here. We have 4 planets and 3 other celestial beings in Aries at this time. So there's this stellium of planets that are taking place in Aries. And Aries is little V-looking sign. And then you also want to look at the little numbers in the center to find out where this is falling in your chart. Now this is happening at 22 degrees. So for this person, it's actually taking place in their 10th house. And what happens is we have the sun and moon come together with every new moon. And it's a time where we can actually set our intentions because there's less of an emotional strain. When the sun and moon start moving away from each other, they start to create this gap, and there can be some kind of conflict where you feel like you're getting pulled in multiple directions, which is typically what happens with the full moon. There's emotion on one side and there's what you really want to do on the other side. So the sun and moon represent the divine masculine and feminine. They come together for a very short period of time. So we literally have, even though the event is on the 11th, probably by the 12th, late afternoon, it will be moving, the moon will be moving into Taurus. So it's going to be a quick one. You want to make sure you set your intentions. Actually, on the day of the new moon would be absolutely supportive of you in seeding this new moon. Now, we also have Venus sitting here. Venus is the little circle with the line at the bottom. So Venus is the planet of love and beauty, and she relates to money and our personal values. And she is at 26 degrees of Aries, so she will be moving out of there fairly soon also. And she is actually at a square position. I didn't draw all the aspects because there was so much going on. There'd be just all these lines drawn. But she is at 26 degrees, and Pluto is also at 26 degrees of Capricorn. So what's taking place with this relationship? Anytime there's squares, which means that the planets are at a 90-degree angle, there's this opposition that's taking place. So Venus is wanting you to move forward in this loving, compassionate way, and Pluto's on the other side, holding you back, saying, okay, you really want to do this? Are you stuck in any sort of power struggles? Are there limitations based on, whatever limitations you could possibly have? Pluto kind of brings those to light and helps you hopefully break free, because Venus is really moving us forward into what is it that I really love? What is it that I really want out of my life, and brings that into the world. So that's one square that's taking place. Now, with the sun and moon, they are at a trine position with Mars over here. So the sun and moon are all in this, you know, in Aries energy of who am I in the world and what is it that I want to bring forth into the world. And over here in Gemini, we have Mars. And Mars is looking at it going, okay, I'm ready to take action. And if you think about it, Mars rules Aries. So, you know, there's this beautiful relationship between the sun and moon and Mars at this time. And Mars being in Gemini presents some interesting opportunities. First of all, Geminis are the twins, right? So there could be two options that you're choosing between. There could be two projects that you're working on that you're sort of jockeying your time and energy towards. So just keep in mind, if there are two things that are taking place for you, that is the Mars energy. And Mars is about taking action. So what inspired action is coming up that is actually moving you forward and helping you get the results that you're wanting to actually move towards. So just notice any inspired action, any ideas of, oh, I need to call so-and-so, or I need to look at this, you know, go and drive around and look at this place for a house, or whatever your goal is, but just make sure that you're tuning in intuitively to what Mars is bringing up. Now, Mars is going to be activating a lot of mental energy. So there may be a lot of new ideas that don't even get started or off the ground at this time, but this is a big time to tune into some of those goals and dreams and desires. And even if you're just writing them down and revisit them at a later time, it will actually support you in the long run because Mars is really kind of stirring things up and bringing things to the surface. Now, also over here, we have, let's see, the Jupiter. Yeah, Jupiter over here is at a sextile. I didn't put a line there, but it's at a sextile with the sun and moon. And with Jupiter in Aquarius right now, this is all about the bigger picture. It's about seeing a bigger vision of yourself, a bigger version of yourself, and following your independence. It's helping you see your path maybe more clearly. It's helping you take the next right step and really expanding who you are. So if you've got some big dreams that are coming in, this is not a time to discount that, but honor what's coming in so that you really can expand yourself to your highest potential. I also want to mention in here, so we have the sun, moon, Venus, and we have Ceres. Ceres is the goddess of fertility. So this is a great time to plant new seeds that can grow to fruition. We also have Chiron in here, the asteroid Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. And he's been playing here back and forth for probably, I don't know, the last 7 or 8 years. But Chiron helps you tune into emotional wounds that are holding you back, emotional wounds that need to get resolved, and helping you understand how to heal those. So just keep in mind that we all have emotional wounds. None of us are immune to that. And it's an opportunity for you to dive a little bit deeper into what those emotional wounds are so that you can bring them to the surface, honor them, release them. And once you've released them, then you're able to step into your full energy and embrace that. And then the other element that we have in Aries is Eris, E-R-I-S. And Eris is the sister to Mars. She is an activist. She is the female warrior. And she is tenacious. She will fight to the death. She will fight even when she doesn't think she's going to win. And so if you've got that kind of energy coming up, and even knowing where that's hitting in your chart, it will help you in seeing places where maybe you need to dig a bit deeper and really honor that element and that fight that you're bringing to the surface, because that will support you in having the determination to get your goals. And that's another key characteristic of Aries, is its sheer determination. So also over here, we've got Mercury at early degrees of Eris, and there could be this sense of clarity about who you are, sense of clarity in the direction you're moving, or maybe even the next action step you're supposed to be taking. Sometimes we have to wait for those action steps to appear before we actually get moving. And so you may see something that is taking you forward. With Mercury in Aries, there is this kind of push for freedom, for independence. And it's an opportunity for you to tune into any places in your life, especially related to this area of your chart, where maybe you feel codependent, or maybe there's a sense of, no freedom, basically. So how do we break free and get to that place of freedom and expansion? And Mercury will help you in clarifying that, even, either through journaling or through meditation. If you set your intention before you go to sleep of, solving a problem or addressing something specific that you need an answer to, setting that intention before you go to sleep and allowing your subconscious to process it will help you either when you awaken or in the near future, where you see new options. You have clarity around what the next step is. And Mercury is actually at a sextile to Saturn in Aquarius. And so with this sextile, it is about taking the next step. It's seeing the bigger picture. It's seeing any limitations, either that you're placing on yourself or that others have placed on you. So just keep that in mind, that will help you in, recognizing that there is a lot of mental energy that's taking place on top of the highly active fire energy that Aries brings in general. So I'm calling this new moon activation because it's activating us on so many deep levels, different layers within our psyche and our energy fields. And the more we can learn to tune into our heart, and we'll do that in just a minute, and the more we can tune into our heart and honor our, what we're feeling and where we're being guided and led to, the easier it is to actually create that new reality. So we're activating ideas, we're activating a new reality, and we are taking inspired action with this Aries new moon. So let's look at how this is affecting the houses. So with this in the 10th house for this person, it's about taking action on a professional or personal level and identification, professional identification, and with leadership. So once you pull your chart, if you don't know where it is, you can always come back to this recording. It'll be available at newmoonmanifesting.com/podcast. And you can check this out and see once you find out where it's happening. These are very short descriptions. And so you can also just do a Google search for Aries in 4th house and see what comes up, because there's a lot of articles that are written about it that will support you in understanding where you're at. As far as essential oils, I just realized I forgot to create a slide for that one. For essential oils, some of my favorites, wild orange for creativity. So if you're looking for new inspiration and to, declutter your house energetically, just put some wild orange and water in a bottle and spray it around your house. It'll definitely open up and shift the energy. Cyprus is another really good one to get energy moving. I know as we're moving out of winter, sometimes we can feel sluggish and it's hard to get things going. And Cyprus is an essential oil that actually moves the fluids of your body and gets things going. Bergamot is a great one to boost your confidence and to help you feel more empowered. It's a great one to apply directly over the solar plexus. And then one of my other favorites, let's talk about clove, because clove is so empowering. Energetically, it helps you set and maintain healthy boundaries simply by applying it to your body every day. You can literally have this energetic barrier between you and other people. And then Ylang Ylang. In fact, Ylang Ylang and wild orange together just smells like an orange blossom field. So Ylang Ylang helps you tune into your heart's desires and to follow what you really want out of life. I'm actually doing some essential oil studies the week of April 17th through the 24th. So if you are new to essential oils and you're curious how they would support you, the options for the study are there's a digestion study, there's a stress and anxiety study, and then there's a pain and discomfort study. So if any of those are of interest to you, you can reach out to me through this email, the email that you get through me, and we can chat about what health concerns you have. What the study basically does is there's an intake form that talks about your current health situations. Then I send you several essential oils that you get to work with for that week. And there's specific protocols in using those. And then you do a wrap-up survey to talk about how the oils or the difference that you noticed throughout the study. So it's a really powerful tool for you to engage with essential oils and look for natural solutions that actually support your health. And then one other announcement, we have another 3-day free event for Women Rocking Money. And for some of you that know me, I'm a former tax accountant. So not only do I do energy work and clearing energy as well as DNA work to help people heal their ancestral issues and their own personal issues, but I love teaching people about financial literacy, and I actually integrate energy work into Women Rocking Money. So this free 3-day online workshop is April 28th through the 30th. And you can go to our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Money Mastery Academy, and not with 2 Y's. My keyboard is sticking, so not with 2 Y's, but it's a great opportunity to spend an hour learning about some tools to help you in managing your mindset, your emotions, your money, all the things that we need to do to actually attract more things to us. And I use money as a way of teaching people about energy because it's a tangible tool. We can see if we're attracting more money to us, there must be something we're doing on the inside to transform our relationship with money so we actually attract more of the good stuff that we want to us. So not only does it affect us in attracting more money, but it parlays into other areas of our lives so that we do attract the good stuff that we want to us. So I want to stop screen share and check you all out. Look at all you beauties. All right, does anybody have any questions before we go into the activity? Meditation.
I have a question, Jana.
Yes.
So my new moon, my Aries is in my 7th house. And it's like right next to, I think it's Chiron is right next to mine. Does that mean anything though, when they're right next to each other?
Okay, wait, say that again. Oh, your natal Chiron?
No, the transit. Or am I looking at it wrong?
Okay, so I'm just trying to picture that. What do you mean by Chiron sitting next to?
Never mind. Sorry, that was Venus. I was looking at the wrong planet. Never mind.
Okay, you're good?
Oh wait, no. That is because so I have Aries at I think it's 9 degrees in my 7th house, and then Chiron is like right next to it.
Okay. Your natal Chiron? I'm still trying.
No, the transit.
Oh, no. Yeah, the transit's in there. The transit is in Aries right now. Yeah. So
For
it's
Chiron as well.
If this is taking place in your 7th house, this is all about relationship and it's partnership and it's equality, balance, justice, all those keywords that the 7th house brings in. And so if Chiron's going through here, it's about finding balance. Which is interesting because I know what you're going through right now. But definitely finding balance, definitely tuning into, the characteristics of relationships that you value and honoring those and not settling for anything less. And so definitely Chiron is helping heal any of those issues. Yeah, so it's definitely a big transition for you when it comes to relationship, partnership, those types of things.
So does that also include like relationship with self? Because I know lately,
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing that's been coming up has been like for leadership. And the thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately is having that balance of bringing feminine and masculine energy in.
Absolutely, because that's a huge part of all relationship, right? And it can be a relationship with yourself. If you're used to predominantly acting, very masculine, then it's like, okay, how do I bring in the feminine element to balance that? So yes, we're in relationship with everything. So we're in partnership with almost everything. So when we can look at how am I relating to myself, how am I relating to, certain people or certain situations or nature or whatever it is, then we can get key clues as to what still needs to be healed within us.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That was my only question.
Absolutely. Anyone else questions, comments before we go into meditation?
I have a question, Jana.
Yes.
So just to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So new moon transiting my 10th house. So Chiron in the 10th house would be highlighting, and healing any of the wounding around career, vocation, could be like work-life balance potentially.
Absolutely.
Boundaries.
It could be that balance. It's also, the legacy that you're leaving, how you appear in the outer world, right? So if you used to be very introverted and not really allowing yourself to shine or your full potential to be reached, then Chiron would bring that to the surface.
Okay. So the Chiron aspect is bringing to the surface basically where the issues are within the house, meaning.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Any other questions? Anyone else?
Hi, Jana.
Hi, Jane.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? What kind of wine you drinking?
I'm drinking an organic Italian blend.
Okay.
Very nice. I hope the other girls are having a beverage of choice and enjoying themselves too. Okay. I think this new moon is in my 8th and 9th house. So what advice have you got for me?
So since it's a 22 degrees, I'm going to say it's in your 9th.
Okay.
Just because I've seen your chart before. So within the 9th house, that relates to higher education, philosophical pursuits, long distance travel, working with various cultures. Yeah, so it's a really good time of you identifying who am I in the world and how do I share my bigger vision, because it is that, basically Sagittarius energy of the bigger vision. What am I pointing and directing my goals and intentions towards, so that, that you are on target for the year.
Great. Yeah, the big plan, the master plan.
The master plan. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a great one to set that master plan up. And then each time we do the new moon, to keep this as a reference point. And you can fine tune it as you're going throughout the year. But as long as you've got a reference point, then you can keep coming back to that and review what those goals are, and then carry those to the next level.
Great. So is that your master plan in all areas of your life, or just how you're seen by the world, like your career?
No, it can be in all areas of your life. Absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So much. Very good advice. Thank you.
Anyone else? Questions?
I have a question, Jana.
Yes, dear.
So you were mentioning earlier, you were saying this was a good time, or this was a time where self-sabotaging patterns or like negative thoughts or feelings about yourself or that others may have placed upon you or such, that this is a time for them to release. Can you speak more of that, and like how, once you even realize that you are doing the self-sabotaging, how do you stop it? Stop it, like, yeah, please, like, yeah,
That is the golden question, my friend. Yes. How do I stop
right?
self-sabotage? That's a big one. And even realizing you're doing it is a huge step, right? Because we are on autopilot 95% of the time. And as soon as we have that thought, like, oh my gosh, I just sabotaged myself by doing blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Like the best thing you can do in that situation is keep catching yourself. So every time you catch yourself, it's a little bit sooner. Sometimes it's after you've done it, like, oh, I want to, manage my money very well. And then all of a sudden something happens and you go on retail therapy and blow everything that you saved. And then afterwards you're like, why did I do that? Right. And then the next time, instead of going out for retail therapy, you're like, okay, I have $50 I'm going to spend, and that's all you spend. Right. So there's that limit that you start placing on things. And the more you catch yourself in, why am I eating the cookies if I'm trying to lose weight, or eating sugar when I know it's not healthy for me, then you can start making the conscious choices that actually help you get the success that you actually want.
So could you maybe speak to how we could use this new moon to help that, to release those patterns, those thoughts? How we use the new moon and oils that would support that, please.
Help with all of it. The thought is setting your intentions. Please show me all the places where I'm sabotaging myself today, right? Like, wake up in the morning, that's the morning mantra, and your higher self will definitely show you. And it's whether you have the blinders on and don't want to see it, or if they're, you can at least see what's taking place, or if you have a full spectrum view. So, setting your intention is a huge way, because your guides will definitely support you in showing places that, that need your attention. And then once you do see it, then, like I was saying earlier, you can either make the conscious choice in the moment and say, you know what, I'm not going to eat that sugar right now because I know it's going to cause inflammation in my body and I'm going to feel like crap. So I'm using myself as an example. Because I know what sugar does to my body. Like, I'm good for about 4 or 5 days, and then I eat something and it's like, oh, dang it, I know I shouldn't do that. And so, it is a process. It would be so great if we could just like unplug, right? That's my wish. Or wave your magic wand and just be like, no more of that behavior, right? But you have kids, you know what it's like when you're like, yeah, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And then they keep doing it.
Yes.
So it's basically not that you're reprimanding yourself, but you're catching yourself, and really patting yourself on the back for the times when things are, when you do catch yourself, be like, oh my gosh, I caught myself and I didn't fall into that trap again. And those moments will actually expand your awareness even more, because when we go through the self-sabotage, we go into guilt, we go into shame, we go into all these lower vibrating emotions that kind of keep us stuck in that circular reference. So the more we can catch ourselves in doing the good things and patting ourselves on the back for it and being compassionate, right? There is no better tool than being compassionate for yourself, because it's never a straight line to get to the destination. It's definitely going to be a cycle where you're really, really good and then you fall off and then you're really, really good again. So the more you can be patient with yourself and honor where you're at and recognize that you're not perfect and take imperfect action, then the more likely you're going to stop the patterns, and stop them by replacing them with what you do want, right? Like, oh, I'm going to give up sugar. I had juice today, vegetable juice, but it was sweet enough that it satisfied my sweet tooth. So, that was a positive thing that I look at that and go, okay, no sugar today. Good. I did it. Does that help?
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Anyone else? Questions?
Is my microphone working? Hello?
I hear you.
Oh, hello. I actually have a practical question. How do you pull up the transiting planets alongside your natal chart?
Yes. So I pull my charts at astro.com.
Yeah, that's what I have mine in there right now as well.
And then there's a whole drop down menu that you can pull from a whole bunch of different options. And I
Okay.
pulled the natal chart with transits.
Okay. And then can you set the so I just clicked that and then it said like it's given me the time right now. So there's a way to edit that as well.
Yes, you can change the date. I actually
Got
put
it.
the 12th because I think that website is in the UK and the new moon is
Yeah.
actually on the 12th there. So if
Yeah,
you put
okay.
the 12th, it'll definitely be a closer date.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'll have a look around to
Okay.
do that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's nice to know these little tricks
Yeah.
help you see your actual chart. Fabulous.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions, comments? All right, we're going to go into a short meditation, and if you know what intentions that you're actually setting with this new moon, that's fabulous. If you don't, that's okay. We're going to bring in a lot of the Aries characteristics with this. If you find that there's actually, Elisa, this would be a good place for you to tune into whatever self-sabotage. So when we're going into this, once we get into the meditative point, you can bring up self-sabotage and see where that's sitting in your body. And then as we're cleansing and purifying and clearing out the old, just focus on that point. And it'll be interesting to see what the number is when we start and what we end. So try that and see. I can't wait to hear. All right, so hopefully you're in a place where you can close your eyes. If not, you can either come back to this at a later time, but I just want you to go ahead and close your eyes, and we're going to begin with some breathing into your nose, and exhale, release. Breathing in deeply all the way down to the belly. And as you exhale, release any tension you're holding in the neck, the shoulders. Maybe wiggle the shoulders around a little bit. Just allow the tension to melt away in the moment. Continue to breathe deeply and rhythmically. Breathing in. And as you exhale, just feel the tension releasing from the upper back, from the chest. Allowing the body to soften. Tuning out the outer world and tuning into your inner one. Just being present with your physical body. Noticing any sensations. Bring your awareness to your mid-body, the lower torso, releasing any tension you're holding in the abdomen, your stomach, your intestines. We hold so much tension through the middle part of our body. And just imagine that all of your organs are floating like ice cubes on hot water. You're completely just letting go in this moment, tuning in, being present to what you feel, releasing any tension you're holding in the lower back. The back supports us in so many ways, and the lower back supports us in our finances, our sexuality, our ability to survive and thrive in the world. And just tune out anything that no longer serves you. Tuning in, allowing yourself to release. And use your breath through this process. allowing yourself to breathe through any energy that you feel moving, any places where there's heaviness in your body. Just use your breath to allow things to soften just a little bit. Allow things to open up. And allow your arms to be heavy and relaxed. Just allow yourself to be present in this moment. You're in a space that is safe. You're protected. And just imagine calling in your ancestors, your guides, and they're just creating a circle around you, holding hands, projecting unconditional love to you. And maybe take your hand over your heart and just allow yourself to feel the love they're projecting to you now. And take a deep breath in. And exhale, release. And we call in the Aries characteristics. Aries is all about I am here. I am worthy. I am deserving. I'm magnificent. I'm courageous. I take action. I am honest. I am bold and driven. Just allow these energies to sink into your body, assimilating. You're literally bringing them into your heart. And the heart's going to be like this beautiful toolbox that you can use throughout the year. It's guiding you and directing you. And we're bringing in the energy of creativity and passion and the courage to follow your passion. And we're bringing in the energy of confidence, that you confidently lead your life. And feel your heart begin to expand. It's opening up like a flower, allowing all this creative juices to flow, your passion to be ignited, your confidence to soar, and your determination to be a guiding light through this year. And take a deep breath in. And exhale, release. And I want you to think of a specific goal that you're setting with the Aries New Moon. Maybe you don't have it completely nailed down yet, but think of an intention that you want to set, something that you're seeing for this new astrology year. The moon is our emotional side, and our emotions are what help us in manifesting more. They are a driving light that supports us in creating the life we want. And think about your goal in present terms, such as, I am so grateful that I now have perfect job, perfect relationship, fulfilling work, perfect health. whatever intention, I want you to focus on one just for a moment and tune into your physical body, staying out of the mind and just staying in the body, being aware and present. When you state your goal, notice what that feels like in your body. Do you feel expansive when you think about this goal? Sometimes it's easy to think about the goal, but when we start feeling it in our body, there's resistance or there's fear and wondering how I'm going to get that. That's not your job right now. You don't need to figure it out. Just want you to set that intention. What it is that you want to claim with this Aries new moon. And wherever you're feeling that energy in your body, I just want you to take one of your fingers and hold it on the most intense points that you feel in your body. As we're going through this exercise, the energy may move. Just move your finger to the most intense points and just be present with where you feel it in your body. Again, there's no need to figure this out. You're just being present. You're literally giving your body permission to feel. And as you're holding this spot, your guides and ancestors are projecting unconditional love, supporting you in releasing any resistance or fears or anything that's standing in your way, any sabotaging behaviors. Just be present to what you feel. And just recognize that you're allowing the energy to move through your body right now. And if you feel inspired, drop in the chat what you're noticing, what number. If it was on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being intense, like something was very painful, and 1 being very unnoticeable, what number would you rate this? And if you don't feel like dropping in the chat, that's fine. But just think of what number this is for you. And sometimes as the energy moves, it may get more intense as it goes to a different location, and that's okay. We're allowing whatever the energy is to flow through your system and simply acknowledging it. Oh, that's great, Elena. Just be present with that. No need to judge it, control it, move it. Just stay in your body, keep your finger on that point, and just be present. Continue to tune into your body. Tune into your goal. The idea is to get to an optimal level of a 0 or a 1. And if you feel very confident about your goal, you can actually tune into the next action step you have to take and what that feels like. Because sometimes that's where the resistance, we can have all the great ideas in the world, but what our resistance is actually taking action. So we'll do everything we can to avoid taking action. So just be present with what you notice, where you notice it, and just keep your finger on that most intense point. I keep feeling a lot of throat chakra energy. I don't know if anyone else is noticing that, but there's a lot of like heaviness in the throat. So I'm helping you in clearing that off. I'm holding space energetically with your ancestors to hold this vibration of unconditional love and keep you in this safe container so that you are able to release. You are able to move through this. Because the biggest frustration is having big ideas and not being able to move them into action and actually bring our goals to fruition. So it's important for us to move the energy that holds us back. We need that stagnant energy. Just drop in the chat if anything has changed for you. You guys are doing great. I can feel the energy moving. There's a lot of lower 3 chakras, especially solar plexus, that I'm noticing a lot of energy is moving. So if you typically have digestive issues, there's usually a stagnation in 3rd chakra, personal power. Just be present to what you notice. Keep your finger on the most intense of the most intense points. Just drop in the chat if numbers have changed for you, where you were when we started, where you're at right now. Yeah, that's okay, Elise. You know, I understand having goals, and sometimes there is a lot of resistance. Sometimes there's certain fears that we have to overcome to actually get our goals. And we may actually resign and say, you know what, I just want to give up. I don't want to have this goal anymore because I've got resistance to it. And yet pushing through that resistance, working through the resistance will, whether you get that goal or it opens you up to something else, recognizing what that resistance is, and at least working through the resistance will help you work in other ways in your life. So it's not just that element. Oh, wow. Dental pain dropped in half. Wow, I love that. Yeah, and sometimes, you know, we're so tense in our lives and we hold so much energy in our jaws too, Devin, that that tension just literally locks us up, right? Whether it's our inability of speaking or expressing ourselves or, you know, asking for what we want and actually getting it, right? Like those are all huge. Perfect, Kimberly. Yawning is a perfect release. In fact, I'm usually the one doing the yawning. Yeah, I've had all kinds of weird things, like sometimes I'll get the hiccups when I do this with people. Sometimes I'll be yawning, sometimes I'll be belching. Like there's a whole host of things that take place, and it's all about the energy moving and eliminating what no longer serves you. So as you're yawning, you're allowing that energy to release. So yay, perfect. Yeah, just be very present. Be very present to what you feel. Drop in the chat what's changing for you. Anyone getting down to lower numbers, 1s, 2s, 3s? Just curious where we're sitting. And this is something you can continue working on. We're getting to your physical body and bringing it to a place of peace, because we often hold on so tightly to the emotion and the energy, and we don't allow ourselves to feel it, that we literally stay clenched up and sort of tied up. Kathy, you have your hand up?
Yeah, so I have a question. I am, so my intention is to work on core wounds, core childhood wounds. But as we're doing this exercise, I feel like I'm trying to focus on the sacral chakra, but I don't have feeling. Like, you know how it's typically like there's that intense feeling first and then we lower it down.
Yes.
So I'm feeling like I'm the opposite though. So
Going up or not
well,
feeling at
it's
all?
not feeling it at all.
Okay. And were you trying to bring awareness to that part of your body, or?
Well, when I thought of that, like there was no feeling. Like there's always that intense feeling somewhere, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't feel it anywhere.
Well, and I should have mentioned that before. Sometimes we are disconnected from certain parts of our body. And so
Okay.
if you can't figure out, like if I'm saying something, you're like, I don't feel anything, then I want you to, the next step is to go to the point of, where could I possibly feel this? Like if I was tuning into this, where would that show up in my body? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes even bringing awareness to that. And maybe it's just tuning into your heart and saying, okay, I'm just going to tune into my heart here and feel what I feel in this spot, and see if it moves you someplace else, right? And often, I know actually a lot of women that have a disconnection with second chakra. And so even tuning in and feeling their energy body and physical body is very difficult. And there's been so much trauma that, that can cause us to literally shut down and not want to feel that, right? I mean, because we've practiced closing ourselves off, and now we're trying to learn how to open back up. So
Right.
yeah, so I appreciate you bringing that up, because I should have said that. But it's definitely a process. And if you can't feel something in your body or an emotion, then definitely just imagine where you could notice that.
So would my next action step be to try to connect to that part?
Connect to the, so if you feel, so are you asking if you felt okay with this goal? If you felt like it was okay to move forward with this goal, then the next thing would be to focus on the next action step and tune into how that feels for you. So is that what you're saying before I go on?
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
normally if you set a goal and I take you through this exercise and you're like, yes, I don't feel any resistance in my body and I'm super excited and jacked up for this goal, let's go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the next thing is to tune into the first action step you need to take. And, whatever that is, and tune into, how do I feel? Let's say I have to make 10 sales calls, right? To hit whatever my goal is. And if I go to make a phone call and the phone weighs 1,000 pounds and I can't even dial a number, then there's resistance. So I need to tune into what I feel with that action step, because if I don't move past that action step, I'm not going to make the 10 phone calls, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I would definitely tune into your first action step if you feel inspired about this goal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so just keep going and then basically keep going until you find resistance.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Anyone else want to share? Anything coming up that you want to bring to light? right, let me know how you're doing so far with this process and where we, what you're feeling right now. You can either unmute yourselves or drop it in the chat. Okay, down to a 3 and in your heart. Love it. Getting down there. Yeah, and this is a great activity to tune into before you go to sleep, to just, you know, kind of reconnect with what your goal was. And even when we get to those lower numbers, I'll tell you, our head tries to outrun our body all the time. So it'll be like, oh, no, 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 I'm fine, I'm fine. But if you bring up the question again, or the intention or the goal that you're setting, and you go back into resistance, then you have to recognize it was your head trying to get you down there. So, you know, we play all kinds of games with ourselves, and it's important to recognize that so that you can make sure that you are tuning into what you feel and not what your head tells you you should feel. But if you do this exercise before you go to sleep, then your higher self actually continues to support you with this healing process and releasing any of the, you know, energy that's tied up in your system.
So Jana,
Yes, dear.
yeah, so I know Elisa was talking about herself, but we've been talking about this for a little while now about the self-sabotage, and she suggested that I get on this new moon meeting, but I'm there right now. I'm realizing that I'm making myself miserable by how I think other people think about me, but there's not this, I don't know who I need to hear positive things from before I start to believe them. So that's where I am. It's like,
Yeah, where do we even start? Well, honestly, the person you need
Yeah.
to hear them from is yourself. And so I would
Yep.
literally get a little thing of sticky notes and start posting positive things about yourself so that you're looking all over the place at, you know, I'm a dynamic creative woman. And you're not
Yeah.
going to believe it, right? You're going to be looking at it going, yeah, that's not me.
Yep.
But I know that it does work because the visual and writing is very important. And the more that you're practicing those, you know, affirmations, you're literally reprogramming the neurons in your brain. And so it takes a while because the old channel, the neurons are used to be going down the Grand Canyon, right? So now it's all of a sudden you've got this new little place that you want new neurons and new thoughts to go down. No, you're gonna always gravitate towards what is familiar. And if you're used to speaking negatively to yourself, then you're going to be like, I can't stop it. It is a process. I know that it does work because I personally have done it myself. And if I can do it, I know you can do it too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. That's encouraging because, yeah, it's just, at what point am I just going to be sick of my own shit that I'm just going to move forward and not think that everyone's out to get me and I need to be perfect and not have any faults or I'll lose my job or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting any indications from anybody that any of these things would actually be a thought in anyone's head. No complaints, no issues at work. I'm just sitting here with my, like, waiting for something to go wrong.
Yeah. And we are our own worst enemy. And, you know, it's silencing that inner critic so that it becomes our inner cheerleader, right? And only you can become the hero of your own life by shifting, you know, the negativity. And so kind of what Elisa was saying earlier, how do I stop the self-sabotage? Well, affirmations are a great way because as soon as we tell ourselves, you know, you're beautiful, you work hard, you do a great job, whatever it is. And even when you're working with one of your clients, that when you get done, that you say something positive about yourself. right? Like, oh, that was a really great session that I had
Yeah.
with this person. And starting to affirm that, yeah, you are doing a good job and you're doing what you need to do. And but you know, if you're not getting any outward indication that those things are taking place, then it's all taking place right here. So you
Yep.
definitely can stop it. Yeah.
That's the goal. That's the goal for this year. Right there.
Yeah, I know I mean, it's a good one, right? Because it takes practice, and it's not something that, like I said earlier, you can just unplug from and just be like, okay, my mind's all in the right place.
Oh yeah.
It's the
But
yeah, it's that
but
constant co-creation, the constant positivity,
yes.
you know, feeling the vibe.
And
And that's why when I have you feel into even this, it's like we often become so disconnected with what we feel that even tuning into this can sometimes be a challenge and almost overwhelming. But when you get to that place where you get to lower numbers and you're like, oh, that wasn't so hard to feel it. Sometimes the biggest fear we have is in our feeling and feeling our feelings, right? So if we can move beyond fearing our feelings, then we can actually start cracking some of those walls that we throw up to really protect us.
thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, self-sabotage is a really big deal. Like I've had challenges with it throughout my life as well. And the more tools we have in our toolbox and the more practice that we get, the easier it is for us to actually attract the good stuff we want. But when we are operating, you know, think about yourself as a magnet, right? So if I'm projecting negativity and I'm unhealthy and I'm angry all the time, then I'm going to attract more opportunities to feel that way, because we have the opportunity of choice. And the choice is, do I continue feeling angry and fearful, or do I have the choice of feeling, you know, excited, compassionate love? And it's a choice, because that's what our human experience is based on, is free agency. So you have the choice to focus on the negative thoughts, or you can stop them and start creating new ones. I know you can do it, Maria. I have faith in you. Anyone else? Questions?
Hello?
Hi, Susan.
Hi, yeah. I'm just looking for a little bit of insight with the new moon. For me, it's all happening in the 6th house, where I also have Chiron. So I felt kind of like in my life that like the sort of 6th house, it's supposed to rule work as opposed to vocation. But I'm also embarking on a kind of new time in my life where the focus is a bit more vocation than work, but I still need to do that. So this is the like kind of time in the run up to the new moon where I'm just kind of like deciphering it all and the like, you know, different planets and sort of how it's working for me. But I'm just wondering what you would speak to
Yeah, absolutely.
about that.
Sure. So the 6th house, it relates to our daily activities and creating healthy habits. And so, you know, that can be related to work, but it could be you're creating a new routine, right? And so it's like, what do I want my new routine to look like? Since I'm no longer in this work vocation type area, how do I want my life to be structured? Do I go for a walk every day? Do I do yoga 3 days a week? Do I do, you know, whatever the daily habits are that create the bigger picture? Because you're starting to develop this over the next 12 months. So it'd be great to have a foundation of what are my healthy habits, so that, because I've been retired 3 times. And
Sounds good to me.
Like, okay, I'm bored. I need something to work on. I need a project, right? But I want it in balance with what the rest of I want it to fit into the other things that I love to do. And
Yeah.
so, you know, it's like working 2 to 3 days a week, only 3 days or 3 weeks out of the month, only for like 6 hours or 5 hours at a time. So it's structuring that type of thing. What does your week look like? What does each day look like? What specific activities are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, and it's also, the sixth house relates to perfectionism. And so it's looking at how can I perfect myself in various ways, whether it's like we were just talking about with mindset, or with your overall health, or, you know, whatever it is, but just, you know, what areas of my life do I want to perfect even more, and on a heart-centered level, right? Because if we're in that ego mind of, I want to look this way, and, you know, it may not be attainable, but tuning into the heart's desires of, you know, how do I expand that creative force working through me versus from me. Does that help?
It does. I mean, you know, it kind of sounds like everything that's going on. I would say, I think from the beginning of the Aries season, I've been kind of like more focused on, you know, planning a daily routine, and you know, the, like, you know, different tools I might use to sort of structure that, and finding things like Todoist and stuff like that. So that's been a real focus. I think I felt a little bit unsure because when we had the new year and we have Capricorn season, then I set a load of goals then. So I almost feel like, oh, I've kind of done it, but I suppose I can use this to refine it. And then
Absolutely.
with the sort of Venus and heart thing, then in meditation, probably when it was Pisces season, and I was coming towards the end of my Chiron mid-turn, and it was just kind of like the final bit, I think, and it was like the last thing to sort of come through. It was like, you know, kind of like carry on with just opening your heart, or opening my heart in that way. So yeah, it kind of sounds, yeah, it kind of sounds like I'm there or on track anyway, at least. But yeah, it's kind of like sticking to habits and routines. I'm so not great at that. I'm really not. Seriously, it's so difficult.
Start small, right? Like, don't have
Yeah.
12 things that you have to do. It's like, what's one thing that I can do today? Or 1 or 2 or 3 things, right? Just so that you're not overwhelming yourself and not doing any of it, but you're starting. It's like, okay, this month I'm going to add this specific habit. And maybe it's go for a walk every day, right? And that's your habit. And then next month I'm going to add this habit. But if you start with the list, then, you know, pretty soon you'll be like, well, that didn't work, and you throw it out the window. So I recommend starting small with things that you are actually going to do, and then work up to bigger goals and adding more in.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Thank you.
Maria, did you raise your hand again? I didn't know if it was raised before.
Yeah, it was for before.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone else, questions or comments before we wrap up? This has been so fun. I hope you guys have got a lot out of it. In fact, if there's anything specific that you are, you know, that you got out of tonight or really value tonight, please drop in the chat, because I'd love to hear what you all are doing and experiencing as a result of this. All good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is really sweet. I was really tired when we started. I didn't sleep very well last night. I was really tired, and I was like, I don't know if I can even stay awake and do it. But I did, and it was crazy. That, like, I typed in a little comment. It brought up, like, basically a memory from middle school.
Wow.
At a time where I was working on something with a group of girls, and I got kind of like shunted off to the side, and it like made me feel like they thought I wasn't capable, and like introduced this interesting like competitive aspect to me. And I was like, I've been like, I need to show up more on social media and do more things, but I'm not really I don't really enjoy technology. So I realized like I've really been, I think, feeling competitive with other people and kind of like, I'm not as good as they are, or, you know, I'm not showing up like they are, or whatever it is. And I'm like, you know, I just need to do me. It's fine. Like I actually am doing awesome things, and me doing awesome things doesn't take away from other people doing awesome things. I just need to do my thing. And, you know, that's always when it's the best. And when I work, you know, when I work with people, it's because they're like, oh yeah, I relate to what's going on for her. So I'm like, I can just let that really old story go.
You're so right. And it's so easy to not want to be seen, right? When we have experiences like that and feel inadequate or incapable in some capacity. So it's important for us to learn how to push through that and to really honor, you know, who we are and what gifts we're bringing. And how else do people find you if they don't see stuff, right? Like that's the only reason that I even do social media, is primarily for business stuff, because I know I'm here to change women's lives. And, you know, I know one way is finances, and then other is just getting them to feeling worthy and deserving of receiving more. So you have some tremendous gifts. I've taken some of Eva's, even your free stuff, like I can feel energetically, I feel things moving in lower 3 chakras. And, you know, women have so much energy that's pent up in their hips and their pelvis and, you know, even hula hooping, but just getting stuff moving is absolutely vital. So, you know, if you follow Eva and jump into her classes or free stuff, and you'll notice a difference. I promise you. Mention where to get natal charts. So I have a short little video that if you're on my new moon list, I usually have it in there, and it's, I don't know, it takes maybe 10 minutes, but it walks you through how to pull your natal chart with transit so that you can see where this is taking place. And if you do have questions, please reach out. Oh, good. Taking away inspiration and energies, shifting to move forward, getting updates on my astrology. Yeah, I agree. It's hard to not be seen, right? Like to cower and hide. Yeah, there's no more room for that. Maria, you've joined our group, so we don't allow that. You have to be front, center, present, all that good stuff. So yeah, good stuff.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, once you're my friend, I don't ever let you go. It's impossible for you to cower back into the corner. So yeah.
Well, that's what I need, is to be pulled out and called on my stuff. And yeah, so.
Yeah, and sometimes you know, it's that tough love that gets us out of the tough places that we are in life. But we're all in this to serve each other. And that's why I'm so passionate about really empowering women, and especially with money, because most often, you know, if you don't know how to manage money right, then you don't have money confidence, and you're not going to get the jobs or ask for the money or take risks or to invest. And so the more confidence you have around your money and knowing how you're supposed to spend it, the easier it is for you to do that. But that's just an indication of other areas of your life, right? Like if I learn how to be better at any area of my life, I'm going to feel more confident. So it's definitely a trickle down effect to other areas. I hope you'll join us for the 3-day event. It is April 28th through the 30th. It's a Facebook event, but there's a Zoom link if you want to join on Zoom, or you can watch it in our group, Money Mastery Academy. And if you do have questions, please reach out. But we will wrap up tonight. I thank you for being here, and I'm super excited to see what you all activate with this Aries new moon. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you soon.
Thanks, Yana. You're awesome. Thank you.